Yeah, that's right. You don't want to talk to you the next day.
Oh, yeah, the next day.
Oh, I was sending medication.
It's okay. Oh, it's right there. I had the sodium pentothal years ago. True serum, oh, and the things you say.
Did I use that anymore?
I started getting Easter. Well, I think it numbs out.
Wow.
Sure,
We don't have many original parts of the book.
No,
should be.
Both needs.
You have his.
No, my original.
This one.
No, I have it right now.
Okay, yeah, right.
Genetic is flawed in the joints.
Well, I can't get
I know that's stupid.
Oh,
They put themselves in harm's
No,
way.
they
is what they
subject
do.
themselves to that. Sandy didn't.
So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, according to our new chronometers, it is now 4 o'clock. Thank you all for being here. May 10th, 23, meeting of the Harbor Commission. Victor, would you take the roll, please?
Yes, I will. Bill McCullough,
I am here.
Laura Course.
Here.
Chip Everest,
Here.
Tom Graham Jr.,
Here.
Karen Stroud Donnelly,
Yes.
Bill Brown,
Here.
John Baker,
Here.
Matt Bagara,
Here.
Greg Fisher.
Here.
JB is absent. He's off getting married, but we do have a quorum.
We have a quorum. All righty. First on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from the meeting December 14th of last year. Does anybody have any comments, corrections? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion.
So move to approve them as presented.
All in favor?
Aye.
Turn.
Next on our agenda is approving the agenda. Does anybody have any additions or comments on the agenda except for public comment, which we'll get to in just a moment?
I would like to make one add on a new business. I'd like to talk about a sub unloading area at Ford Park.
Self-unloading,
Sub, SUP.
Oh,
Stand up paddleboard.
stand-up paddleboard unloading area, Ford Park. All right, I think we can add that to new business.
Thank you.
If anybody's opposed. Okay, next section is public comment. Anybody wish to address the commission today?
Real quick update on the new Marine Patrol officer. We had 3 people apply, 1 went through, 1 wasn't qualified, but actually the 3rd person is so far real good. We interviewed him last Sunday of here, and 54 years old, resident of Harbor Springs, lives up on Washington Street, retired firefighter. I just got his application yesterday. He'll be doing a background check, but he appears to be a win-win. So far, so good. So hope to have him. I met with Dean was in here with the interview. We talked afterwards and hopefully get him trained and up and going by the June 1st date. So
What are you thinking in terms of scheduling that might be different from years gone by?
from my understanding is your wants was to try to fill the void that Dean didn't work. So Dean works Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Saturday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Sunday, usually noon to 6 in that ballpark. So the new person would work Monday, 1 to 9, Tuesday, noon to 6, Wednesday, 1 to 9, Thursday, noon to 6, Friday, noon to 6, and then fill it on Saturday, roughly 30-ish, 35 hours a week. And we spoke with him. He was really good about it. He's retired. that the weather's not conducive to somebody not being out there, we're just not gonna waste money. He would come in just like Dean that comes in. Dean does a really good job. If it's 45 and raining out there, there's no reason for him to be out there doing what on it. So that would be roughly the hours so that we would fill those voids when Dean wasn't out there.
Cool.
Does that make sense?
I didn't do all the math, but it sounds like we've got much better coverage
Well, we'll have
every
coverage,
day.
like,
Yes.
pretty much we'll have coverage every day of the week from noon or 1 till 9 p.m.
That's great.
And then on the weekends, we'll like, if Dean moves up a little bit, he might fill at the end or vice versa, just as it gets busy, but it should work out really well. And not a significant amount, I should be well under the $30,000 budget that for Dean and him.
Nice,
So,
nice, thank you.
any questions? And I'll update you, but that's where I just interviewed him Sunday, but like I said, he's driven a 40-footer, he's driven the Livonia Fire Department boat. So he has some experience, the other person that had never driven a boat. And yeah, it was gonna be a long process. He seems to fit our bill. He says, of course, if we need enforcement, but that he's gonna be out there and visible. He's been around for a while and he's got, I feel, really good common sense, so.
Excellent.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
To piggyback on that, we did hire Bob Toma to work down at the lunch ramp to either assist or take over for Mary Jane. Bob will be doing pretty much the high times for us, which would be Saturdays and Sundays. He'll be there probably 8 to 8 to cover the bases for us, which should give us a real presence down there to try to keep things flowing the way they should. Not that Mary Jane did a bad job, but she had told me last summer she was ready to age out of it, looking for someone to take her spot. So I
That's
think
great.
Bob
Bob
would
has
be a great
launched
choice.
hundreds of boats down there, so
Yeah.
he knows the drill.
Yeah.
and Keep it in order.
We're gonna get Bob a shirt that says Ramp Nazi. And it's gonna be federal safety yellow, so. it'll be-
Not sure that's the word I'd use, but
Right, Ramp Police.
Wrangler maybe.
Anyway, I think it's gonna be
Ramp
good to have him down there, so.
Good.
It might be appropriate for us to do something to acknowledge Mary Jane's many years of friendly service down there.
I've been trying to reach her to see if she's gonna be back with us this year. She's been impossible to get hold of, so I'm not even sure who she's living with right now, so. But I will let you know.
Any other comments from the community?
Just want enough community, so Mary Jane, if we can't get a hold of her, at the very least, a letter of accommodation to be put in the paper.
Oh, absolutely.
No, let's make sure she's not planning to come back first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or even for all of service.
No, I think I can figure out how to track her down if we need to. Okay, that being done, old business, we are looking for an update relative to the blessing of the fleet.
So that's me, or Kristen. So hello, everyone. I'm Kristen Baylog, the Executive Director at the Harbor Springs Area Historical Society. And I'd like to introduce to you the new chair of the Blessing of the Fleet, Nate Graham. He has been a trustee with us for 2 years. This is his 3rd year, and he stepped up to replace Sharon Mahalik. So Sharon has acted as a guide through this process after her 5 years of service as well. So first of all, thank you for giving us verbal approval prior to this to bring the IRQ back for cruises on the harbor during the Blessing of the Fleet. We're doing the same program as we've done for years in the past, and Wallstrom has been generous enough to donate dockage again. So I don't have any changes to report as far as what that in the departure and the arrival looks like from our schedule, other than the dates are different from last year, just by calendar. Are there any questions that you all had or concerns with the report that I included in your packet? So I'll just point out that we are incurring a lot greater fees this year because we are taking over the Sunset Cruise. And in the past, IRQ has sold those tickets and we have received a portion of those sales. And this year we're more invested in that cruise itself, so that we are actually putting our curator on the Sunset Cruise to do a history of the harbor. So we have history on the water prior to the blessing of the fleet. So just thank you again for allowing us this opportunity to continue to improve the event, to do more and more education and sharing of our traditions and history in the area. We really appreciate it. It is our signature fundraiser, and we continue to utilize these funds for a third of our budget. So it makes a difference in our community and the success that we can be for you, tied into the historical corridor and what that means for all of us in the future. So,
Thank you for your
is there
efforts.
anything you wanted to add?
No, please come to shameless plug. Please come to the History Talk in the Harbor. It'll be fabulous.
Anybody questions? Cool. See
And
you on-
actually, Michael, I'd be willing to, if you'd like to gift Mary Jane a ticket on one of our cruises, I'd be happy to work with you on
That'd
that.
be awesome. I'm sure she'd love it.
Yeah.
That might be kind of fun for
That's a
her to
great
be
idea.
out on the water during the festivities
We'll get her on the
instead of,
canoe,
instead of working.
Yes.
That's a,
so she can sub for JB.
oh, well, that's not my call, but we can talk. I don't send those invites out, but I have a 91-foot beautiful boat.
I know, right? I'm sure she'd love that. That'd be
So,
great.
yeah, so I'd be happy to do something for her. Please.
My only comment was last year it was marvelous. Everything ran smooth.
Thank you.
We get a
Did
little,
what you
little
said.
bit warmer maybe.
Well, it cleared.
That's you now.
It cleared at the
Yeah.
end. So far, we haven't been canceled, and we are working more and more with the Adawa to build the on-land ceremony. And we have two tribal members who are joining our board this May 22nd will be their orientation. And so they're working more closely with us each year to build that traditional aspect of this ceremony, which happens more on land and again, expands it something for everyone.
Alrighty, moving on. And I apologize, I didn't know I was gonna be running this meeting until like 12 minutes ago. So I'm gonna do this more or less by reading. The next item on our agenda is review of commercial licenses. So we have applications from Irish Boat Shop and Wallstrom Marine, both of whom have worked well with the community for quite a while. They're both requesting renewal to their licenses. We have we have a new someone who's interested but has not yet applied?
Yes.
Okay. Is that something you want to speak to, or you wait till they've actually done it?
I talked to him at length about a month ago
Mhm.
and told him the necessary steps he had to take to accomplish what he wanted to do. He wants to be able to bring boats that he has stored and rent these on a daily basis. I told him whether it's daily or not, you still have to have the commercial permit in your vehicle, and you also have to purchase, well, that'll cover that base. He also has to have permits for each trailer, the stickers that we're now providing to trailer customers. And I have not heard back from him. He was a little upset that he had to go through those hoops. I said,
Is there a charter aspect to what he's trying
it's
to
not a
do?
charter operation, no.
Just renting boats?
Right, yep.
You put
Just
in the
have-
water and they sail off into the sunset.
Yep, and they get retrieved the same day. I have not heard back from him, and we may not hear back from him at all.
Alright. Victor, should we address the two applicants separately?
No, so the code basically says that Harbor Commission reviews, and if you remember, the reason we set this up was on the unlikely aspect that we get several different applicants and we have to make a decision whether there's too many commercial entities operating from Ford Park. So IBS and Wallstrom are consistently have been the two, but they're the only two that applied this year. So
Is this for a 1 year?
yeah, these are 1 year, yeah, every year, these are annual licenses.
Anybody want to comment, weigh in? Anybody?
What do we charge for those?
400.
400,
400 this year for.
because they're in-town commercial operations.
And your trailers, each trailer they launch will have to have a sticker.
That's a
Right.
separate, yeah.
That's was to cover the bases of the valets.
Right.
I think we hashed this out quite a bit.
Yeah, well, but
We did.
they launched private custom, non-valley boats
As well.
Yeah, basis.
Right.
So we've done it before, they proved they're good at it. We need it, they need us.
Yeah.
They just, it's fine.
So someone want to make a motion? I would accept a motion covering both of them or one at a time, either way.
So moved.
Okay, to approve both of them? Do we need a voice vote or
I second it.
Or a
do we
second,
have a second?
all in favor.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed?
If I'm working for Irish's right now, I probably should abstain.
Okay.
What will we do with upcoming, there's two applicants, we have two that provided that service the last few years, and we
So-
haven't had an application yet,
They
so.
will be presented at the next meeting if they do apply. Yep. Which is June 14th.
And I did stop by the outfitter today. They were using a commercial license to their kayak launches down there. Reminded Josh that he's got to get that form filled out, so that'll be the third one.
And Terry Meyer was the other one.
I've not heard from Terry either, so, yeah. When we do, we'll present them at the June meeting.
All righty, next on our agenda is Harbor Master and City Manager update. Why don't we start with Mark Boudet's
Yeah, great. So we had bidded out the Harbor Master Building final architectural designs. And we solicited proposals. We received two, one from Rupert Day and then from Elaine Kaiser. Council ended up selecting Mark Boudet's to be the architect for the project. So he's going to be working on preparing final plans, final designs, construction documents. When those are finalized, we'll present those to the Harbor Commission for review and then to the council for review and final approval.
do you think we would have those for the next meeting?
No, it's gonna be sometime in the summer, probably August, I'm guessing, based on, depends on how, how quickly they can work there. I'm guessing we would probably have the project, my hopes to have the project bid out by late fall, for a 2024 construction.
2024, okay.
Depends, though, we'll probably have to it will go to the planning commission for review as well too, since we're expanding the building. So there's a process, but hopefully by the end of this fall, we can have that process.
Now, has the planning commission had any input on this? Or are they aware of what we're cooking up here?
They're aware, but they've never seen anything official. So,
Mike, did you have anything that you wanted to?
No, outside of, I'm glad that we have somebody starting the architectural drawings. That would be definitely the biggest of the steps we have to take from here, so. Yeah.
And you didn't have anything else generally?
Just what's right up there, yeah. I do have a couple of things to talk about. There may not even be up there update.
All I see is kayak and moorings are filled for the year and there are 3 open 45-foot slips.
There were 3 open 45s. We are now down to just 1 45, and I also sold a 30 and a 40 and another 45. So we just have one right now.
So we had some turnover.
Massive turnover, more than I've ever seen in the 13 years I've been doing it.
How many turned?
5 altogether. Yeah, and they were all big slips.
Out of?
5 out of 34 seasonals. Yeah. But we managed to fill all but 1, so. Yeah. And thanks to Tina, who was pretty adamant that I get my butt in gear and start making some phone calls and sending emails, so she was great about that.
Something about behind every successful man.
She's been doing a great job. She really stepped up.
Cool. Good to hear that the kayaks and moorings are full.
A couple more things to add to that, if I might. We do have, I'm fortunate enough to bring back 4 returnees from last year, which is a bunch of solid beginning to the staff. And I hired 2 freshmen in high school who'll be great because I'll be able to keep them for hopefully right through college. So that's 8 years worth of productivity from them. We already have 20 boats signing up with us for the Boyne City Yacht Club group and bringing to us for as long as I've been harbor master. And they'll be here on the 16th and 17th, and we should see probably 25 by the time it's all said and done with those guys. Regatta is already over 100 boats, and probably 40 of those boats are over 40 feet, so we're gonna be jammed at the marina. We'll be using the east dock and any available slip for anybody who's out of town, so that'll be great. Electrical pedestals, I was hoping they'd be in that week that we had that really nice weather. We pulled all the bubblers and got all that stuff out of the way. For some reason, Squire's been dragging their feet on this one, but I did call John and he assured me they'd be in by the 1st of June, so we'll be in good shape with those. Other than that, I think we're looking at a really good start to the summer.
Good.
Yeah, outside of the snow last week. I was out of town and avoided it all together, which was great. So far, so good.
Water level, any complications?
It was down quite a bit, probably another foot from last year's levels in October, but it seems to have stabilized at probably just below. My gauge is the bottom of the pump out dock. It's probably about 6 inches below the very bottom board of the pump out dock right now, so we're in a lot better shape than I thought we might have been at this time of year, so, yeah.
Okay, just for everybody's consumption, the buoy that is out in the middle of the bay, which is weather buoy 45022, is up and running. There are a couple of websites that you can access the data from. And apparently the University of Michigan got that thing put together this year. It's bounced back and forth between, I think, U of M and Northern.
It was a Michigan Tech.
Was it Tech? Michigan Tech? Okay, so anyway, anybody who wants to know which way the wind's blowing, how hard, how big the waves are, what the temperature is, all that stuff, it's all available in real time on the World Wide Web. You can also, there's a number that you can text and put in 45022 and it will respond back to you with the current state of affairs out there. That information I don't have in front of me, but it's available. It's probably available through the city website somewhere. So there you go.
Where exactly is it?
No, we don't.
9 miles directly west of the state park.
Let's say it's kind of about as far out as Big Rock.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's
Okay, way out.
pretty far out there and about in the middle of the mouth of the bay. It's almost out to where you'd consider it being in the lake. Far enough that it's getting the waves from the big water coming down from the north and all that. And that's the last thing on the agenda, so
We did add
New business.
oh, I'm sorry.
Karen's.
Go ahead, Karen.
Thanks, Bill. I brought this up at the last Park and Rec Board meeting. I propose that we look at a space at the very end of the southwest corner of Ford Park, which would be next to the last parking space, the boat trailer parking space, where people can, for a short period of time, unload their stand-up paddleboard or their kayak from the car, and then pull out and repark someplace else. I've done that myself several times as fast as I can before I get in trouble. But I thought there's a lot of people that could use that, because if you have to unload at a distance away at any of the public parking, or especially on the road, and you've got a bunch of wind, and you're trying to carry your 12-foot board across the road with a bunch of wind, it's a little dangerous. And so I took some pictures of what it looks like from the parking area. And I looked at how it would fit with the small passage that Irish has to Ford Park. And there's enough space there that wouldn't interfere with any parking, nor would it doesn't look like it would interfere with that passage that they have between Irish and Ford Park. So maybe it's nothing more than a sign that says short-term parking allowed for unloading only. I don't know if it would require any new surface because it's going to be on the grass. I have never had trouble using it, unloading on the grass, but I don't know how DPW would feel about that. So I propose that we think about that and seriously consider that for the summer, because I don't think it would really take any extra effort for that to happen, other than note that it's allowable with the right signage.
Would you park on the grass to unload, or
Yes.
park in that space? Because it's pretty muddy in that
It can
corner.
be, it'd be
I
kind of
just-
muddy.
I'm worried about UPW might have some ideas about how to protect the grass, because I'm afraid that it'll just turn into a mud hole.
It can, but unfortunately, sometimes that parking space is taken.
I know.
So you can't always, count on being able to have that space
Yeah, I
available to
agree.
you. And sometimes you have to pull in like perpendicular actually to the,
To the space.
to the space.
Is
Yeah,
it
to get in there.
possible,
Could be they could put some,
Yeah, maybe
hard
gravel or
surface down
something
there.
down, yeah.
is it possible to limit this space or no, that's not a good idea?
To limit the.
This
that
last
trailer space.
trailer space, or is that
At
not?
peak times, we're gonna be jam packed.
Victor, is there anything in any of the city's plans? We've talked about Ford Park and how it could be designed perhaps to work better for a long time. Is there anything on the calendar, like 5 years from now or 2 years from now, or maybe someday sort of a thing, to actually take that up in earnest? And
It is on our CIP, so it is on our 6-year plan, but we have not given it a detailed look yet. It's just been talked about and ideas have been thrown around, but we have not put it on, because we had actually, replacement of the windows at this building on the CIP too, and we said, well, we should wait until we look at this whole plan. Council had mentioned that we should wait till we look at the whole parking and circulation issue before we do anything with the building. So it's on our radar, it's on our plans, but we haven't given it a detailed look yet. And I don't know exactly what year we have it planned for, but I imagine in the next year or so, we will probably be looking at it.
that might be something that
Until after the
we as a
harvest.
commission might want to start throwing ideas around. I know we did a few years ago. We talked about the trees, we talked about, kind of that space against the building. We talked about a different style of kayak racks that would allow us much more density to put more racks without taking up more space and things of that nature. I do think that little loop through there is really high value real estate that's not really being used the way I would do it if it were up to me. I'm thinking, can we put on the agenda? Anybody have a problem with putting on the agenda under new business for next time around, starting a conversation on Ford Park? Just start throwing ideas and.
I like Karen's idea now, sort of a quick fix of
Well, it's
that problem.
being used that way and has been for a long time,
Right.
Little, sunfishes and kayaks and boats of that nature, especially that little launching dock now.
Yeah, that helps.
Right.
People will pull over, get the thing off as fast as they can and then scurry away. So they're not really taking up parking, but they are interfering with the traffic flow.
I'll bring that up with Luke at DPW and see what he thinks is a good idea. I kind of, share John's concerns about it being muddy there. If it's really saturated, there could be a problem there. We don't want to tear up the grass more than necessary.
Mhm.
But if there's issues with it,
Can we just for now look at doing some sort of gravel space?
yeah, that might be. an
That
option.
offers some drainage when it's wet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, that would define it too, so people weren't just parking. As a-
And then it wouldn't be a space that was used, taken
Right.
away, it would be
Right.
a spot for dump.
Because that space
It
is
seems like
valuable,
a, mhm.
yeah.
And
At
having
least it
Bob
would
down
be
there,
no-
we'll run them out of the spot.
Yeah.
Well, at least it would be allowable. I mean, that's the issue,
Pardon me?
is that I did it anyway, even though I knew it wasn't really allowable. And Mary Jane would sometimes come and talk to me about this. I'll be right out, and repark my car. But if we just had a simple sign that allowed it and see what Lucas says about the right materials underneath, on top of the grass, whatever that might be,
Yeah.
that would be really helpful.
Well, the gravel would be an experiment, and if it works, then we pave it.
I wouldn't want to sink a lot into it since might be rearranging things significantly at some point. in the future.
But it's at some point, 5 years from now.
Right.
Yeah, so finding a solution to help.
And I'm not sure paving is really the best solution anyway, because it's easy to drop a board or a kayak. It's better not to drop it on pavement if possible.
Yeah.
So there might be a better surface than that.
Like at Elk Rapids, for some reason it's standing out that they are doing a project in their kayak launch. I'll look at it. But I think they're either in the plans of redoing it or they just redid it. I want to say there's gravel too. I've driven by it.
Yeah, a lot of times boats like that, you want to drag them along, you want
Right.
to drag them from hither to yon, so you don't want concrete.
All right, I think
All
that's.
right.
Good idea.
Thank you.
Anybody else? We good? Well, there you go. 4:28. I'd entertain a motion.
Just do it.
So moved. We're done. Thank you, everybody, for your attention. Make it official.